What up, everybody? It's me.
There's a fucking bunch of fucking vehicles around. Basically, New York seemed pretty fucking cool. New Hampshire seemed like it sucks. Massachusetts seems like it sucks. New York is impossible to live there. Unless I had a career. But by the time I had a piece of land, I'm probably pretty certain I wouldn't even want to be on in a few years. It would be a few years before I could get that piece of land. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I spent the next 3 years working to save up $80,000 to buy 3 acres of land in a beautiful place, property taxes would be through the roof. I would have to commit to working pretty much half the year. And I would never be able to build anything on it because I'd never be able to afford to build anything on it. So I get a beautiful piece of land to put a camper on. It's way better. Like, this is nice, but I didn't know there were much better places out there. I went to the closest city, and I didn't like anybody there. Everybody I went to looking for, because be honest, guys, can you think of a better solution to end the homeless crisis? Because they're not going to give them apartments anymore. They're not going to give them land anymore. So we have people on the ground, and I'm like, oh, let's just give them a plastic wagon. They're not picky. Let them go out into the woods and give them the means to clean up after themselves. And I'm fairly certain, as long as you treat them with respect and make them feel welcome, and it's not bullshit, as long as you're not bullshitting, and they genuinely feel like you're just a chill person that doesn't expect anything of them and isn't trying to, like, sneak attack your dominance, which most people are unaware they're doing because they haven't suffered enough. Think about how quickly that would have saved my life. If 4 years ago I could crawl into the woods and lay there for as long as I needed to. And then when I crawled out of the woods, they handed me a shovel and said, shovel this whole town and we'll pay you $20 an hour just to go at every single driveway, take as long as you need, but just have a timer. So when you start shoveling, hit the timer. When you stop shoveling, hit the timer. Don't bullshit us. And half of it goes into a savings account for a car. Half of it goes to you. The only other thing is that you're priding yourself on being a small town. These are a bunch of small towns. Keep it a small town. If you know the guy's bullshitting, don't give him the opportunity. I think first week I'd be able to have a Jackery power station and phone service and a phone. Next week I would have been able to get a bike. Week after that, computer. Imagine if there was a network of homesteads looking for people just to shovel and excavate a bunch of dirt. Imagine if there was a bunch of farmers looking for someone to go out there. But when I went, they said fuck off. Sometimes one of the farmers was fat, drunk, and threw some shit at me. Some people followed me back to the cabin. And I'm not sure who exactly fired the shots off at me at the cabin, but the gas station people said it was the state police. So I did see a couple people with master's degrees, and I talked to somebody who her boyfriend has a master's degree, and she said he's applied to 1,700 jobs in the past 4 months, and he quit his job because he didn't like it, and he thought because he had a master's degree he could just get right back into a high-paying field, because he's like, nobody has master's degrees anymore. And then he has now been unemployed for a year because he can't find anywhere. All the people bitching and moaning, I need to get a job, they're not hiring. I had to go 300, I had to go 3 hours in one direction, applying everywhere and waiting on callbacks. And the only people interested, 3 hours away. I know there was a guy that said he had jobs all over the country if I just give him a call. I don't know who that guy is, but I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. Joe, shut the fuck up, man. What the fuck? Yeah, I applied to fast food places. They won't me because I don't have access to a shower. And it's not warm enough that they trust. Or other reasons, I don't know. Hey Joe, do you know any carpenters that need helpers with no experience? Joe, I would love to be a carpenter if you know someone that needs a carpenter helper. I'd love to be a plumber's apprentice where you just get, I'll take $10 an hour, just let me go to the job site with you and hold the wrench. And just see what you do. And then use that guy as a reference for some odd plumbing job where you just go in, lay some pipe, fuck the rich guy's wife, and leave. I really want to work at this farm right here, but they said no. I went yesterday. Not yesterday, sorry, I went 2 days ago. The days kind of blend together. Not gonna lie. Man, I'd love to work at the road crew, laying pavement. But a CDL school is like $4 grand. Here it's like $6 grand. And then I'm like, man, I'm only thinking about how much of my life I wasted with the brain injury just fucking wandering around trying to fight to hold on to the songs because I didn't want to lose the songs. I was so proud of the things I was making, and I was like, the world is taking it from it. Every time I go to work, I feel... How many times do you guys wake up in the morning and it's like your body just can't... You ever like wake up when you have to do something in the morning and you can't get into your body and it's just so cold and you're shaking and it hurts and it makes you really angry suddenly, and then you go in the morning to the coffee shops with everybody to get your coffee before work and everybody else is cold, angry, and aggressive? It's almost like the human spirit is literally fighting against something. And J. Cole's album, he said he studies numerology and practices astrological magic. Look at this. See, this guy knows what he's doing. Is that for sale? No, he just lives there. Somebody knew somebody's uncle, and they let him put a camper right in the front yard right there. But when I go, they say, look at all this land. And they're like, no. I'm like, you don't have anybody that might have just a little bit of, even just like a 1/7 of an acre right here, where I could just put something and I'll give you $2 grand. I'll give you $2 grand, just let me put a little tent right there and leave me alone. Let me put a tent down there and just leave me alone down there. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, there's just nobody. There's just nobody. And then I go to talk to them and they rev their chain. I had a guy once on the Lemoyne Valley Rail Trail. I went there and I was just going to ask him, hey, I'm just having trouble getting a job. They won't hire me. I can rest and shower at the river, using the river to clean. I'm just looking for like a section in the back where I could just work out every day, rest as long as I need to, and then go to work at night at the Dollar Tree. They said once I have a stable place, I can work at the Dollar Tree. So I'm trying to work at the Dollar Tree. And then maybe once I'm at the Dollar Tree, McDonald's might warm up to me there. But right now, it's like the police can show up and throw me in jail at any minute because I'm technically trespassing on the rail trail. But there's no other place I can go. And everywhere I went was worse. And I have trauma I need help with. But really, I just need rest and to work out. So I'm trying to save up for the gym membership. And before I could get off the first sentence, the guy he's turned away, stomped into his garage, pulled out a chainsaw, and revved it at me. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Then you go on Facebook and you see people in the state are bragging about sicking their dogs on homeless people. And I'm like, man, they made it impossible to get out of this situation. And then I went to the homeless conference to talk about the solutions to ending homelessness. And they were talking about how to steal government funding for their paychecks. The ACL, or I think it was the ACLA, or maybe it was the local number if you need a free lawyer for civil claims and stuff that you're supposed to go to when you have police brutalities and things. I've been waiting on their phone call for 2 years. I've been calling them for 2 years trying to get help with the two police brutalities that happened to me here, where they emptied a can of mace and then left me in jail for 4 days without running water, blankets, pillows. So it was either I stick my head in the toilet or I just sit there and wait. And I was like, I don't want pink eye. So I sat there with pepper spray in my eyes for 4 days. And then the cop made me get on my knees and put his dick so close to my face, and he just hovered there for like 45 seconds. But I just didn't move. I just waited. Turn my head like this. And they won't give me the footage. I've called them for 4 years. I posted about it on Facebook. I've called out the chief of police publicly. I've spoken about it for 4 years, and they won't answer. So I swear to God, this I found out that she was the assistant chief of police in Manhattan when 9/11 happened, and she called out of work that morning before 9/11. But then after 9/11 happened, she was mysteriously right there in the area in full uniform before it happened. Even though she called out of work that day, she was in her uniform. And she was guarding the Jew tunnels where you see Jewish people ascending out of these tunnels in New York City with bloody children's mattresses that are only bloody where the girls is, you know? They raped a kid in that tunnel, and then they brought that guy on the podcast, and he said, yeah, we were trying to, we do rape rituals to reincarnate an ancient king inside the child's vessel. And I'm like, there must be evidence for them to keep doing that after 2,000 years. There must be evidence that stuff really worked for them to be ritualistically doing this Epstein shit to children. But I left her a message and said, it's going to be really funny when people find that out about you. And then 24 hours later, publicly announced her retirement. And on her 33rd anniversary of her career, they made this big thing talking about all of her achievements. So I went on the Facebook and I was like, how does she feel about Holly Chapman being molested, beaten, and thrown in jail, and there was no evidence of any crime she committed other than they wanted content that you used as propaganda to leverage for raising? How does she feel about that young black girl that the cops grabbed, whipped her on the ground until her tits fell out of her shirt, and then held her up to the camera that you guys used as propaganda to leverage for raises? And she had called the police for help because somebody else had committed a crime. She had not committed the crime. She wasn't even involved. She was just a witness. But it looked better for you guys. And out of the 40,000 people that live in that town, nobody answered. Nobody said shit. Everybody was throwing out the heart reacts and how it reacts to everything else. Nobody said shit because we all saw it happen. Is a little dick loser talking shit still? Yeah, Casey, do it. Hate troll accounts are different than realistic accounts that speak truth. Man, you... What the fuck? Come on, Joe. Now I feel bad. Come on, man. Be congruent. Fuck. We're passing Sean's Way. And at the end of it was a big peace sign. And now what's this one? My favorite mountain I've ever climbed is named after this road. Or that road is named after it. And then it says camp. And then it's Sierra, which people have been telling me to go to Sierra pretty often. And then we're passing King's Court, which is KC, next to Robin Way. Like how I drew that picture of me as a king in this abandoned castle, and then 6 months later I found this abandoned sugaring shack that looked identical to my picture, and I lived with a family of robins that I raised. And then right before I got to this road, in the back of my head, the angels or aliens or spirit guides or my higher self started singing, I protect my cabin with railroad spikes so I can try to find some sleep. But something out there keeps on trying, and it's gonna get me one of these nights. And we're passing Railroad Street. So send me off my broken boat, captain of a hopeless dream. Match my rhythm and hold me one last time. Leave the launch and pray the seas good to me. 'Cause I've been talking to the stars at night. I think they agree with me. It ain't my fault you ain't did me right. Dodge that bullet, but it left a hole or two. I'm trying, man. I'm well prepared. As soon as I get word back from this job 3 hours away, if they'll take me, I'm gonna beg somebody for gas, and I'm gonna drive out there 3 hours. I only came back because I had enough thanks to donations. Thank you, Matthias and Heather. I had enough to buy 2 wheel bearing replacements, because usually if one goes, the other's on its way, and one is gone long ago. So then I was waiting for winter break to end so I can go back to this automotive center an hour and a half south that said that they would be willing to change my tires to winter tires and replace my wheel hubs for free. So I'm just here doing a last ditch effort to... So that Planet Fitness trespassed me. I would tell you I'm gonna go and apply to all these jobs, but that Planet Fitness trespassed me when I went in for an interview to do overnights. That Wendy's is not hiring. This tire warehouse is not hiring. This car wash is hiring. And it does see there's nobody there right now because it's winter, but they're hiring for the spring season. So that's what I'm thinking about. Automotive services here is they're now hiring technicians, but you need experience. That's for lease. It's a Subway hiring. Let's look for now hiring signs. What I've heard is because in the state they have now, in order to be eligible for food stamps, you need a 20-hour work requirement. So a lot of places I've been to say that the owners are just flat out refusing people they think are coming for the food stamps. So a lot of the, because I go into places every day, and I'll say like, "Are you guys hiring? What do you?" I'm like, I'm not really enmeshed in the community, which I love, not being a part of it, coming through it after being in the woods. Why do you guys think that 65 jobs said no when I have like let's just say 10 years, because I spent the last 10 years of work experience, all good references. and they say that they probably assume that I'm trying to get the food stamp thing. And then if they find out that you're homeless, a lot of people flat out say no. And that's been happening for a long time, because Vermont used to be a huge hippie commune. So there was a huge beef between the colonials and the hippies and the natives and the descendants of the Buffalo Soldiers. There's a lot of multi-generational black families here that have been here for 250 years. And there's just been long-standing beefs between the hippies, the yokels, the colonials, and the descendants of the people who fought for the country and freed the slaves. So, because the majority of my state is older than 45, a lot of people here, I don't know how long, you've had 3 days off, you just work 40 hours lazy. Hey, are you hiring? Hello, sorry I don't have a shower, but can I be employed at your establishment? It's not how it goes, retard. I don't tell them, but they usually ask, and I'm not going to lie to them. I say I have access to a place that I can shower. I don't say I have an apartment or anything, because then they usually, the last time I said I have an apartment, and I lied to them, they were very upset when they found out that I was homeless. And they said, they were, you know, they're old. I'm trying to get old people to fork over cash that they don't have, because they made it impossible for them to live here, so that they can seize their assets when they die. But you know what? I went to a church, and I was just sitting at the church waiting for this business to open so I could ask them if they're hiring. And a bunch of old people showed up, a bunch of old ladies, and they started sledding. A bunch of old ladies were out there sledding in helmets. And they were like, we really got a kick out of your friend there. And I was like, yeah, he's pretty cool. The majority of my subscriber base likes when I'm in pain. So these live streams are actually good for engagement. Not that I care, but it does help me feel like I'm doing something. I would just be listening to Bad Bunny. You can hear that wheel bearing. So somebody very important, I guess, in the community has died. So there's an excavator that's clearing out a bunch of snow at the church I usually park at for a big funeral. So I have to leave for a couple of days, but I'm going back just to... I waited a week just to see what happened, see if people would steal. They didn't steal. I saw somebody eyeing my stuff once, the infamous porch bandit. So I see why God had sent me back there. I was like, why? I was like an hour and a half east. Why am I back here? But Spirit was like, every night I'd go to sleep and see my stuff, and I'd feel Spirit saying, go, 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 go. So then I went, and then the tarot video that had been uploaded 33 minutes ago and had 1,111 views said, you just made a decision that you think isn't great because you're not financially viable. It's not financially viable, but Spirit's saying that's the best thing that could have happened for you. And then when I got there, because I was there, somebody stopped trying to steal my $600 tent. I got because there was a good deal, and the initials are KC. And if anything ever happens to my car, I won't have to go through what I went through last time. I used to wander around this college town. I appreciate it. Inked up Jesus 420. And I'm not really in pain. It's just, I don't know. As an empath, I'm sure you get it. Do you have instances where you work hard for a long time and you individuate into a more authentic self, where you're grounded and confident, and you sort of walk through life like a knife through butter, and the world is your oyster, and you're not worried about anything or anybody really, other than like what you're gonna do that day. And then immediately, people that have no vibes, no aura, they seem spiritually dead, all of a sudden in your presence they throw their head down like something just yanks their head to the ground. And as they're staring at the floor, they walk slowly in a straight line, trying to block your way everywhere you walk. Or like you're at the gas station and you're about to check out, and somebody just runs up to you and you feel this dark energetic punch that afterwards you see them jolt their head, but you feel like they tugged all your information out. And then they walk away with your confidence and your vibes and your stuff, and they immediately try to leverage it for female attention. Because that's what happens in white America, man. I didn't see any of that happen in hoods. If they were very precise about it, and there was this huge honor system for it. Here, it's just like feral animals. They'll run up to you crazy. Like, I'm not trying to down other cultures, but I saw in places where it was poverty stricken and majority not white, if somebody were to press you, there was this whole code of ethics about it. So very quickly, because they were way more competent, they were way more focused, they were utilizing wisdom and intelligence. So when they would do it, all you had to do was just be real, be authentic, and be grounded. And they wouldn't try to yank it from you. They were trying to educate you. Whereas here, they're like the people that say that those people are monkeys are rodents. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as you're like talking all this crap, they're monkeys. You're not even a pig. You're like a rabid rat that we just kick away. And that's not everybody. Like here, this is a hippie town. It's a blue city. There are feral homeless people, but they're not trying to check you for vibes and dominance. But also, for like a split second, Spirit just gave me the vibe back, and that pretty girl over there, I didn't even look at her. It was just side view, but I felt the energy come down from the heavens, and she looked down sad because they're just so used to it. Like when you engage the vibes here, and you just like try to be free, it sends a signal out that makes everybody twitch. Because the spiritual aspect of this is mixed with the AI Antichrist. Like I glanced over. You see that guy? You can't see. You see how that guy? He didn't even look at me, but his whole head just turned slightly, and his whole body turned slightly in a jolt. That jolt was just because I'm connected to God, and I just looked out. And now you can feel the darkness, and then there's this energetic interplay, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that shit, man. I get it. That's why people stay down. In the city, they're like, that's why you got to stay down and stay real and stay blessed. But I'm like, one day, the energy will be so high vibrational that they won't feel like it's a spiritual attack, because everybody, the whole environment will be that way. It'll be flipped. It'll be from Pisces to Aquarius. It'll be from belief to knowing. But the only thing that will spiritually attack them is if you choose to spiritually attack them. It won't be an accidental thing just because you have a higher vibration and you accidentally shoot lasers in quantum entanglement. But right now it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It just means that everybody is just way too arranged because the belief systems get wonky. I'm assuming there's a bunch of incels telling me that I'm crazy because they're not brave enough to experience what I'm talking about. It's what Spirit told me. There's two nice ladies. One of them looks like she's in her 20s, and one of them looks like she's in her 40s. And we made eye contact, and they were very happy, which was pretty cool. But these Simon stations are owned by a slumlord that owns pretty much all the apartment buildings in the city and all the gas stations in the city. They drive the rent up so it's impossible for people to live. A lot of people I know that are like single mothers here, like the manager at the McDonald's, she said she only profits like $40 a month that she can put in her savings, and the rest has to go to rent and food. They make it just enough to barely live here, and they say it's a privilege to live here because of the nightlife. And these cops see the cop speeding so fast, and he's not going anywhere. Those cops get in trouble all the time because they'll show up 10 deep and just beat the fuck out of a homeless person. You want to go to the place I saw that girl get raped? That's what we can do. We're not far. 2 of those cops raped a girl in 2023, and I ran for help, and it slammed on windows, and nobody helped. And I was like, she's being raped, help, please. And they sped away. But I had a couple police brutalities. I knew if I went into the woods to engage him, and I didn't have I didn't have a working phone at the time. It was broken from a storm. And it was the middle of the night. What I do like about this state is that people drive slower. In New York, when you drive, you'll have 50, if I'm driving the speed limit and I just want to take in the scenic view, there will be 30 cars behind me slamming on the horn, riding my tail light, speeding past me, honking and screaming, and I'm like, I'm going 3 above the speed limit, man. Let me see this view you take for granted. I don't think there will be environmental emotional energy from trauma because it's been 3 years. Did you guys notice that on March 2nd, because it's in Pisces and it's a feminine energy, the sun was brighter and warmer, more of a shining gold than yesterday? And that was the case because Pisces deals with something outside of yourself. So in this collective simulation, I guess, the sun embodied that golden, warm 33, and this guy wants to be a piece of crap, so go for it, man. Go for it, man. Come on. I don't think he's being a piece of crap, but sorry, that was just a reaction to him trying to cut me off. I also get it, though, because the same thing just happened to me. And I have the ability to think about things. This theater closed because nobody had the money to go. Plenty of great movies, and it's in a city, but they couldn't afford the property rent, I guess. I used to wake up and it was negative degrees out, and I would ride that bus right behind me, and I would fall asleep. The plan wasn't to fall asleep. I was trying to go to McDonald's, but by the time I got to McDonald's, I would pass out. You can't sleep. And these are the homeless people that ruin it for everybody. The people that, when I said the kid that got thrown out of the window, he was thrown out of that window. That's the window the kid got thrown out after they drugged him and raped him. But he hasn't told me that. Somebody else told me that. To be fair, I blocked the guy because he was always trying to be in competition with me. This is the youth shelter with Dan and Aaron. And Dan told me that it's on King Street. Dan told me that she harvests the information from the kids while they're asleep and uses it to play chess. And because of that, she rose like 1,000 points in her ELO on chess.com. So the staff were very proud to publicize that that's what they were doing. She's pretty. One day I won't smell and I'll have big muscles. But if I'm being honest, because it's a simulation, I'm pretty sure that's one of my old friends from 2013. I'm pretty sure that's his girlfriend. Because I saw a picture of them once and she looks identical. And she wore the same coat that she wore in the picture. What a coincidence, out of the 60,000 people in this area. On an empty street, I run into somebody I know through the grapevine. La Playita. It's close, and then we'll go to the waterfront, and then I have $20 left after buying the wheel bearings. Shipping was pretty expensive. So it got to like 150 for it to get it here. Hello, person. We'll go, because I want to see if there's a park ranger. Did you hear Trump said he's going to make it federally illegal to car camp in the country? He wants to make it completely impossible to not pay rent. He talks so much shit about homeless people, man. I haven't done a deep dive on presidential policy to see like what exactly each president did. But there is a couple people that do that, and they say so far Trump was actually the worst president to date. If the Iranian leader was actually bad, and if the Venezuelan leader was actually bad, it's not a bad thing. But it's also pretty cool. The CIA's public. They have CIA agents that are publicly talking about it now. The shit that they do. Like taking kids' kneecap test scores and then targeting them based on their perceived spiritual gifts to harvest that through blood magic. You're like, that's crazy. I'm like, they were literally doing it 50 years ago. It's only been 50 years since they decided science was better than that. And Aleister Crowley is Hillary Clinton and the Bush family's relative. One of the most famous Satanists. And they're all in the same club. There's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. It's just the lie that they tell different lies because they need to divide so that there's no party that disagrees. Because if the Republicans disagree with the Democrats, they're mad at each other. And they're always trying to elect different people. If everybody was mad at one person, they'd just kill that person. They just divide and conquer. It's so easy too, bro. To make to make the country lemming behavior and then make two enemies of the lemmings, so the lemmings hoard themselves into two groups, and then basic math. An entire population, and you turn half against each other. So they split it themselves in half and devote their time to attacking the other half. The entire population's time is wasted. If you had split it into thirds, there'd be a chance that a third of the population would be progressing. So this is where Small Dog Electronics, this is where I was at this intersection and I ran here. You'll see how far I ran. And I was slamming on windows, begging people to stop, and nobody stopped. And it was like midnight. Freddie Beans, I'm Native American, Irish, and African. I'm not white. Those are like the three cultures that white people colonized. I'm definitely not weak. You heard me. But I used to ride my bike around here, and then I would go get 2 burritos from the city market, and I would microwave them, and that's all I ate every day. It's 2 burritos, and occasionally I would get a drink, but usually I didn't have anything to drink. Like every 3 days I'd be able to afford 2 Arizonas, so I'd have 2 Arizonas every 3 days. And I'd try to drink from water fountains when I could. Over here is the Howard Center, which is supposed to be a homeless program, but a lot of people have found out that they're involved in sex trafficking. So a lot of people quit. They work there for a few weeks, they find out what they do, they go to management, and management fires them. Or makes it unbearable for them to work, so they quit. So there's a lot of startup community action programs of people that care, that do it out of their trunk. Donations based, but usually the donations come from them. They're spending their own money. Like one couple, very nice people. Her husband works security at the hospital, and she said it's mostly his money that's paying to help these homeless people. And I'd have to follow up with them to see how that turned out, because you really can't fix it until you give them a safe place to lay in the woods. And I've talked to people, there's no quality rehabilitation centers here. Everybody's like, we don't want a safe injection site, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, would you make a rehab? And they're like, fuck no, fuck these people. And I'm like, well, if you won't build us the rehab, that's why they're trying the safe injection site, because it's cheaper than the rehab. But this is where I performed to hundreds of kids, like 200 kids. And I was on top of an SUV right here, because I was making beats up there, and they came up like, what are you doing? And they're like, that's amazing, bro, come down here. So they plugged my phone into the car, like right here. And I performed for everybody, and then there was a guy up there that gave me a car for free. And then the pedophile that wrote that book about being a necromancer, he would park right here at that second to last, so that the high schoolers would think that he wasn't there, or he was just another person, because they couldn't see him, like another person at the party. So then he would put on his night vision goggles, and he'd watch them having sex through the window. So I walked up and said, hey, you're in my part, get the fuck out. And I took a hammer and said if he didn't leave, I was going to slam the crows were already ticked off from my presence, to make sure I didn't leave the headlights on. I think I did. So he took off down to Tucson, Arizona. And then he bragged publicly about how he had groomed a 15-year-old boy. And as a thank you for the Parks Department, I told them that I would build a bridge. So I built them this bridge in 2023. I did this. They cut the wood for me right there, but I got the boards together and I nailed it together. I didn't do the foundation. The foundation is old, but I replaced the boards. And I was the one, I asked Todd at CVOEO to drop off the plywood. And I left a bunch of plywood here for months. And it was hard for me to function because of all the shit that was happening. But once I got the car, I came back and did it. So we're going to go, they wouldn't let me, I wanted to build a gazebo out here. And I wanted to call it Casey's Sanctuary. And there was going to be a plaque that spoke about what a privilege it is to be able to sit here to think about what you want from life. And to respect the space, because it was built by a homeless man who had nothing. Is that a woodpecker? Yeah. Let's try to find it. It's on the other side of these trees over here. It's gonna be hard to find it because it's snow covering everything, but I would take my bike up through this place. And they said they were gonna build a trail here. It's about 0 degrees right now. Looks like another homeless person tried to set up something out here. Because we're just trying to fight off the AI Antichrist or the ego system. So you'll see that they create things to block, the same way that monkeys, when people go to give them food, you'll see monkeys taking like sticks like this and waving it around. It's the same thing. It's also the same reason that Freemasons put their symbols on everything. Okay. It was here, because I know that's too far. It's just snowed in, so you can't see it. It looks like a couple trees have fallen. But I used to have a huge tent right here. And when the cops show up, all the freshmen that were drunk would run into the woods. And a lot of the time they would fucking just open the tent and run inside to hide. And I'd be like, yo. And I have to make sure everybody had rides, and if they were panicking, I'm like, I mean, if you really want to, I know the way to the road over there. It's like the middle of the night. La playita. But there's mountain biking trails around here. When I finally got a bike, it was nice. Depression is... You trying to fight me, Crow? 3, 2, 1. There we go. I had to take a step towards him. I don't know, it's 0 degrees, man. I don't want to be out here. But yeah, I was there The other girl was over there. 2 cops roll up, I know, because I saw their cars. I got just close enough, and I could barely see what was happening, but I know it wasn't an arrest. It was like a movie where the rape scene where they're like, shut the fuck up, don't say anything. That's not what you do during an arrest. You don't go out there in the middle of the night for an arrest either, knowing that you can go in the morning. You don't put yourself in a dangerous situation like that. And their flashlights were off. They had turned the flashlight off once they were in the tent. So what I'm assuming is that a bunch of the college girls laughed at them. They felt humiliated and embarrassed. But the view over there is amazing. What the fuck? Hello. The bird saying, don't do it. You saw when the bird called that guy. Jolted, slammed his head down. Alright. Sometimes, if it's like the weekend, you can drive your car when there's no snow and you can go right down to the waterfront. I'm not going to show you the view down there because it's fucking cold. I don't want to do it. But I'll show you the view from over here. And the cops go on the bike path. I asked the Parks Department and they said no. But my dream was to put a whole Muscle Beach gym right here. Just in this field right here. Just a section with a bench press, pull-up bar, squat rack, deadlift thing, like they have at Muscle Beach. And on Miami, they have it just out on the sand on South Beach. They've just got free public gyms out there. But this is the view. And the whole lake's frozen over. You can walk on it. Really far away, you can see. There's that pavilion over there. There are crows the size of eagles, but I think they might actually be baby bald eagles. And there are crows the size of eagles actually, because I remember their call when they swooped at me on that peninsula over there. And it's a huge cliffside you have to hike up. And I used to go to the bottom of the cliffside and I would scale around the side of it and I would hide in a cove. But the water would get too cold at night when it would splash on the tent, so I left. But I was like, if I ever get a boat, I'm gonna come back here. There's a kid from Southern California that for some reason found his way over here when he was 18 and got stuck here homeless. And he was a twerp, man. He would fucking go and spray paint his logo everywhere, his name everywhere. And he told me that he had in his own words, he had said he had spiritually impregnated everybody at the youth shelter, including the staff. And they were all like enmeshed because it was the year of the water cat. And I felt it. So he kept trying to try me for dominance and like make me out to be the bad guy. And eventually, all the kids that weren't gay got kicked out. Except Schemy, Slimy, Smelly Ethan, the Turncloak Betrayer. All the other kids who were normal and heterosexual got kicked out. Speaking of heterosexual, she's a baddie. A Vermont baddie. So then I'm finding his logos around the state everywhere. I don't know how he got around, but the last time I heard of that kid, he's now 22 or 24, and he was butt naked at the bus station in my hometown 3 hours away, full of face tattoos now, and butt naked at the bus station, and he bit somebody's chin off, or tried to at least. They said he butt naked, he ran up to a stranger and put them in a choke, tried to do a rear naked choke, so he just hopped on somebody's back and tried to choke him. And then when they got off, he bit his chin, and now he's in jail. But he's pleading mentally ill, so he might be in a mental institution. And I remember we would sit here, me and Schemy, Slimy, Smelly Ethan, and we would contemplate how we're going to dethrone the evil Shay. How are we going to get Shay to stop being such a monster so that we can live in peace? And Ethan would tell me he's an evil king. It's abusing his power, and he will definitely fall for it. And he fell pretty far. But the last time I saw him was at my little brother's funeral. He randomly showed up because I guess they had met because he was in my hometown. So he showed up at the funeral, and the last memory I have of that kid, he tried the same power games he tried in the shelter, but he didn't have anybody, and he didn't know anybody. So then it was really funny for him to try that stupid power game because he thought back when he used to do it, he had the support of the people. And then at the very end of it, turns out I was like a VIP. I was the older brother that spoke at the funeral in front of everybody. I was the last speaker. And I went on the big stage and talked about how everyone thought he was schizophrenic, but really he was just a creator. And when you become a creator, especially in Vermont, you get a gift, and it's the most beautiful gift you could ever get. And then I said, I met him after all of you, but I did spend a long time with him, and we mostly made music and went on adventures. So I'm going to tell you what I would tell him if he was still here, and it might not make a lot of sense, but trust that the first thing I said is, I thought I would have social anxiety, but now I just want to do right by him. And I said that songs are short for a reason. Because of his life being cut so short, there's 222 on that license plate. Because of his life being cut so short, it makes the memories that you all have with him infinitely more special. I used better words, but that was the message. Is that now, I guess, because we were in a church, I said, I guess, the most perfect life, I guess, he could have had. He had one brother and one sister. He performed live and threw a big concert that everybody loved, and they celebrated him, and girls were crying, singing his lyrics and everything. And he went on one trip across the country to Phoenix, and then he didn't like it, and his mom brought him to the Grand Canyon, so he took one trip around the country. He had one girlfriend in his life. He got a very simple, perfect, in terms of like what the world has to offer. One of the first things I ever saw of him was him boxing a kid outside our friend's house, and he won. Because he was a lot taller. So he really got, like, what does the world really have to offer? You have travel, heartbreak, love, family, nature, betrayal, depression, isolation, stardom, idolatry, I guess, being like loved by the community, being hated by the community. And he got a very simplified one experience out of all that. He had like one cycle of living as the kid everybody gave up on because they thought he did too many drugs and was whacked out. And he had the season of being a local celebrity where everybody loved him. He had the one adventure across the country, the one girlfriend. And he had living in my place for 4 months, making music every day. I don't read chat until I stop. I just hold it like maps. I'm waiting for this place to open that said they might need somebody to unload trucks full of donations at a thrift store. I was trying to go as a driver because they said they'd pay me $20 an hour to drive and to just pick up deliveries and drop them off, which would be a dream. But it looks like they didn't reach out to me for 3 weeks, and then they went with somebody else. But they sent me to the thrift store they work with because they said they might need help. So I'm gonna go try, see if I like the people. If I don't like the people and I don't want to be here, because every time I come back to the state, it's weird. When you watch videos, I don't know if you saw the Full Disclosure documentary. That's what a lot of like Joe Rogan speakers quote all the time is full disclosure, and it's basically that they went to credible sources, and then they went to indigenous tribes, and they found that the credible sources about their alien experiences line up exactly with 1,000-year-old indigenous teachings. So that's all it was just saying, yeah, they've been here for a long time and the natives still practice it. And it's not just natives that are having these experiences, it's also just people that live in areas that the natives lived, have the same experiences with the same beings, which have a sense of humor, and they're just very intelligent, and they say that they're aliens, and they live in a mountain. And then I guess they went into that mountain, and they met aliens, and they went on the White House steps, and they did a whole press conference where they spoke about which mountain, where it is. And then I checked, that happened in 2018, I checked up on it, and it says that the guy publicly stated that they were going to cave the mountain in and that his family was in danger. And now that person can't be found on the internet. And if you ask AI, it says there was never anything on that mountain. It was a hoax. But I'm like, you don't hold a press conference on the White House steps. For nothing. So whether it was a psyop or what. But the things that they said that they met, the way they described those entities is the same entities that I saw in the woods. And this was years before. I watched that like a month ago. I've been seeing those things for 2 years. I had seen Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or whatever, which is also KC, by the way. If it is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It could just be the Crystal Skull. But I've been having dreams about, in that they have them showing like they're electric. But the way I saw them was that they were beige. And they wore robes. And the way that she describes them was the same way. Those are tall grays. I've seen tall grays a bunch. And I didn't know anything about this. I'm just like, it keeps happening. Look. So this place has a huge African community. Which also, it's pretty funny. They're responsible for all the beautiful art that's here. There's which way are you going, man? There's a whole street full of South American art. There's a whole street full of African art. And those are the coolest places to be. That's also a big mountain. Fuck wrong with you, Justin? Did you see that? Did I get a good view of it? That was amazing. Then you go into the white communities, and it looks like a kindergartner did it. It looks like an inbred cave monkey quelled their aggression for a little bit just to try to make something great that transcends the human condition and celebrates life. I am going to go and cut this person off. I technically have the right of way, and I know, but I'd already hit the gas. Because I was thinking about the image of the art. I used to work at that U-Haul place, but I think they just let me go because they didn't actually need it. So I just needed money for phone service and stuff, so they got me the phone service, and then they said that they're not making enough to have another employee full-time. I'm going to show you where the slumlord stole my car. So I would have had to walk here. I would have never found out where this place was, but through investigative journalism, I hunted down where exactly they were hiding my car. And then only when I found my car did they reveal that they had stolen my car. It used to be that whole lot right there, if you saw it. But it looks like they took everything out. But that had all of my stuff in it, like thousands of dollars worth of stuff back in 2023. And that's why I became really homeless. It was because I was shopping at Walmart and they took it because I had dodged. They said they were mainly after my rims because I had $4,000 rims. This place I've already applied to, they haven't gotten back to me, this Domino's. They do have a company car. I have gone in before. And they said they'll get back to me. So I'm assuming they went with probably just some kid that lives in these apartments or something. Like a 17-year-old with a license. My deer is holding the fort down, so when I can feel them try to energetically attack me. And then I see my deer blocking it. Which is why Freemasons put their symbolism everywhere. To extend their conscious influence over the community. And then astral project into children's rooms and pretend to be their crush. And they think that they're just exploring themselves, I guess. But really it's a sex magic ritual with a Freemason that lives in one of these apartments doing witchcraft. And whether or not you think that's crazy, that's literally what they believe and what they do. That's what they're saying that they do. And I'm like, you have to have some evidence. You can't just be full-blown whack like that. You have to, for them to continue doing stuff like that, there has to be some type of physical, like, actual evidence, like a change in the child's behavior or something afterwards. They must see the world spiritually and have the keys, the same way that they say that you should do in with the Bible. How that changes your perspective and allows you to discern spirit better. I don't think the guy with the red hat going left to right is a gang stalker. But it is followed by a red car with a red license plate and then two red cars here. And then the blue car at the end. But if it's like I'm driving down the highway and 5 cars are behind me and they're all red, and then I see one car all the time, and then I drive 5 hours away, and every town I go to, that same guy in the same car is following me, and he's like, I'm not staring at him, I'm trying not to, but then you saw on the live the other day, when I called out the guy, and he was parked the opposite way. I didn't shine the flashlight, it was the middle of the night, no reason, but I showed you guys, hey, it's the same guy. I don't know why he's here. I'm an hour and a half away from where I was. Then I started talking about something like higher level spiritual, and then the car turned around and he just hovered right outside the car, flashing the high beams directly in, just staring at me, letting me know it's the same person, in the same ski mask and the same sunglasses, with the same thing on the dashboard. And he just flashed the high beams at me, and I felt like this spiritual attack, And then when it went away, he took off. I was like, I wasn't loud. I wasn't bothering. Didn't hold the camera at the guy like I'm recording him. I just said like, hey, look. And then I went back to what I was doing over here at the other end of the parking lot. And then the guy showed up. Maybe, if I was behind him, I could see how he'd think maybe I'm the gang stalker, but I wasn't. I don't stare at him. I just like look and I'm like, really? And then I know that the whole thing would be about attention. So I just try not to put my attention on it. We're looking for now hiring stuff. And we haven't seen one. And then we're going to get back on the highway. Go back to this other place. I can't sleep at night. Like I've been here in negative 65, but for some reason last night it went from 45 to negative 4, and I couldn't sleep because of it. Where'd all the haters go, man? There's too many cars, or I would stop and say, do you guys need help, even though I've already applied? But I wanted to say, yeah, just so I know that they didn't hire me for other reasons. But I've applied to SD Ireland Company already. As a flagger, as a supervisor. I tried to get in as a supervisor. When they wouldn't hire me as a flagger, I was like, fuck it, and I applied to the other one because it said urgently hiring. And I know it just immediately got vetoed. I'm assuming they probably just Google my name and they see the arrest for the loitering report and they see the arrest for disorderly, which didn't happen. If they would give me the body cam, and I've been calling them pretty much every 2 months for 4 years, and they just gave me the body cam, you could see he had no disorderly behavior at all. It was a false police report, and you just attacked the guy. With no evidence for anything. And then you tortured him in a jail cell for 4 days. It's considered torture. I don't know if you guys have ever been pepper sprayed, but it doesn't just go out of your eyes. You can try to cry it out, but then it's on your forehead, it's on your face, it's in your hair. And it's like an oil. So you don't even need to sweat. Your body will naturally try to get it off. And then it drips back into your eyes, or drips into your ears, or you inhale it on accident, and then it's just there, and you need water to get it out. Your body does process it, but it processes it really slowly. So for me, after 4 days, they finally let me wash up in the courthouse. They let me use the bathroom before court, so I was able to go in the sink. But they were not planning on letting me wash my eyes until I got out of court. And I hadn't done anything. It was a false. At some point my wheel is gonna fall. You can hear about the wheel bearings. But March 5th, it gets in the mail. Hopefully the kids will be out of school break. They'll be back in school. And then I'm going to an automotive center. And they said they'll do it for free. They also haven't responded to my texts. They had said they would do it for free, but the person hasn't responded. I haven't checked in with them either, but I sent the initial, hey, this is me. And I didn't get like a thumbs up or anything in acknowledgement that they got it. So I don't know. But I don't want to bother them or create more stress, so I'm not going to message them. I find that in my situation, people are more friendly when you go in person. When you do it over text, they spend all this time thinking about all this bullshit, and usually they get hijacked by some invasive, malevolent spirit. And they respond the same way, they behave the same way. It's as if they get like a download from the enemy. If you send it over text and let them stew in the text message and the online persona and all the other stuff people have, being addicted to their phone. So if you just go in person, they're usually pretty helpful, they're friendly, they're normal, unless they're severely addicted or really fucked up in other ways. Like people that are really stuck on their phone, there's a state police that passed me. And I'm going 60, and I should not be going 60, but we're hoofing it. Yeah, I think I've been awake for 4 days. I might have fallen asleep for 2 hours 2 days ago, but I couldn't find a place to park. And I was trying to find a new town, and I was going to go to a church in a new town far away in a different community and see if I liked it. And I did like it, but I wasn't ready for it. If those in that church with like 200 people that were going to show up and like $100,000 cars, and at least the greeter was nice. Everybody else seemed a bit off-put, except for this really attractive girl that looked my age that came and sat next to me. And I was painfully aware of how bad I smelled because there's no public showers anywhere. And I had realized that in my depression, I often forget to brush my teeth because I'm just in survival trying to find the next thing. Like I wake up and it's hard to think, it's hard to function, but I know if I get here, there's a potential to get somewhere else. And on the way, I write music that I'm really happy with. So at the end of the day, I look back and I'm like, I did something I'm actually pretty proud of. I think this view is nice. Have you a link to a GoFundMe? Yeah, I have the it's in my community tab where I yell at people and then I talk about the GoFundMe. You just go to posts and then you scroll down and there's the GoFundMe link. It's in the comment section of the GoFundMe. I post it again too. It's just that's the only way to find clickable links is if you make a post and put it in the comment section. But yeah, it's 0.1 acre. It's like, so if the road is here, you see how it dips down like that? It dips down like that, but it's got hill like this surrounding it that somebody else owns. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna flood a lot. I asked the guy if I'd have access to, there's a like about 100 feet up the road, and it's a dead end road. 100 feet up the road, there's a paved pull-off with parking spaces, like 3 or 4 parking spaces, and it might just be for, there's like, it starts off with a trailer, and then there's, on the other side, there's a house that's like barely put together. It's like somebody started off with a shack and over like 40 years built onto it. And then at the end of the road, there's I think $1.5 million house. So the $1.5 million house, just opposite that, on the other side of the road, there's a paved 4 parking spots, and that could be for that guy. He didn't come out and bother me. I didn't see him check the window when I was sitting there. So I'd like to ask the guy that owns the land. Now this is the same car, but it's not. Let's see if he has the thing on the dashboard. Oh, I can't speed up to catch him. It does look like he has something on the dashboard. I know they get paid just to do this. I don't know. I don't know for sure if it's him. I'm not going to say it's the guy. But it is weird that I called him out. I know there are only so many make and model types, but it did look like he had the same thing on the dashboard. And if that is true, I think it's more like this is just a simulation. But I have been approached by people that work in government. Back when I was getting like 15,000 views a day, somebody did show up at the Capitol building in Montpelier and address the stuff that I was saying about going against the government by fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, imagine nothing, and then reverse it using the Higgs field, the smallest particle in existence, which makes up literally everything. And then at night, cycling through your memories to gain clarity, and then build a boundary and rebellion to the system in the world. And then slowly house your knowledge, probably through celibacy and semen retention, to store your information and learn and grow and get back in the individuation process and learn from your mistakes and be able to identify the reoccurring cycles in your life to ascend from it and transcend and break free from that. And then a couple days later, somebody, after I got like 40,000 views a day, some guy showed up and said, "Hey, I'm looking for the guy doing the hunger strike." It was pouring rain. I was hiding under an umbrella outside the Capitol building, just hiding under an umbrella, and the cops would laugh at me. And I was like, "Oh, I might know him. He might be on. I might know him on Facebook or something." And he's like, "Oh no, I think his name is Derek, or it might be." And then he named Derek was a regular who had publicly stated that he had left a gang and he had moved to South Africa. So he was letting me know they were using Derek's commenting. He was just a 16-year-old kid. They were using his comments, and they to get into the gang he was in. And they named all the other regulars afterwards, like the 5 or 6 people that would join the live and comment throughout the live all day. I don't know where I am, bro. What up, Sendo? See, they have all these Howard centers everywhere, but then you talk to the people and they're like, nope, it's sex trafficking. They do not help homeless people. They appear to help homeless people for money. Oh, but hey, I don't know where I am, so I have to turn around, and I have to turn around at O'Brien Center. Or O'Brien Court. O'Brien Court. I didn't stop enough, but I don't want to... That wasn't healthy. That shit jumped like that. That wasn't good. These are nice. These are all worth $1 million. These are $1 million homes right here. And if I look like I'm casing the joint, I'm gonna get in trouble. But yeah, these are all $1 million homes, and this is the O'Brien family out here. We're technically related, but probably not closely, because my great-grandfather immigrated. These people might have been here before to have this type of wealth. But 100 years ago, things were different, so this could just be their descendants of one family that got in and did construction, because now they own some big buildings, and they got there because of the construction company. Like, that's their construction up there. I kind of know where it is. I think it's left. left and straight, figure out how many hours they'll give me, how much they'll pay me. I'm waiting for a couple moving companies to get back to me. I applied to. There's a lot of people that need help junk removal, and they'll do 23 an hour, which is FedEx is like 24 an hour. A lot harder work, but I'm trying to lose weight anyway. I want my abs back. Street named after the guy that one of my exes left me for. Street name after that guy's mom. Street name after the other guy that was competing for her attention. Oh, speed bump I didn't see because I was like, what the fuck is Zephyr? And then Holland this morning, I got a notification for a property in Holland, Vermont. It's another speed bump. I've been awake for 4 days. These buildings are all probably 200K, 300K. Probably more, to be honest. What up? Was that Dean Withers? Can we find out where Dean Withers lives? Because that looks like Dean Withers, man. Hello. Stop staring at me. I glanced at you. Don't stare at me. He probably heard the bump. And he was like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Maybe here's the wheelbarrow. We can try going into this Domino's and see if they have a company car, but I think my friend, one of the kids I was in DCF custody with is here, and I don't want that drama of a relationship that predates COVID. Because it's a lot. The energy that comes with that is huge, and I'd rather just leave it there instead of trying to change the relationship over time. Definitely not $1 million homes. You'd be surprised, man. It's really expensive to live out here. They might be 500K, but when I look on Parcel Viewer, it says that the land is like 80,000, but the home that it's on, hey, that's a pastor of a church 40 miles from here. That gave me a ride to church once. I used to steal rotisserie chickens from that Shaw's at night, 25 minutes before they'd throw it out. Because at 15 minutes, they usually throw it out. Because they're trying to go home. And I'd run. They never chased me, but I'd still run to where my car was. We can go up actually, before we stop there. I'll show you this last place. I'll show you where my car broke down in the winter when I wrote this TV show. And I drew a picture of me as a king in an abandoned castle. And then on a hill in the woods. I have new updates on my application status. Which probably means not accepted, or else I would have gotten a call from him by now. Usually they see the application and they call me immediately when they're looking for workers. If I don't get a call, they went with somebody else. But yeah, I used to park on an access road and wait for DoorDash orders because it's really chaotic and the police are always dramatic and shit when I'd go here. But you need to be in the area to be close enough to receive the orders, so I'd hang out at the Chili's because it's the highest paying place. And there was this other guy here who kept telling me he was an energy vampire that was he literally said he was using my energy to talk to this stuff just happens. I swear to God, you're like, it happens so much. It happens over a 5-year period. So it's not constant, but sometimes it is constant. And they do say crazy shit like that. When you live out in the woods, it's spiritual. Sure, he said that he was using it to talk to single moms at the Planet Fitness. And I'd feel like he was yoinking it, and his license plate said yoink. And even when I broke down here, it would be like I'd do like a meditation to take my power back, and he would show up out of nowhere, even if I went and hid. So I'm not going to go all the way down there because I don't want to get stuck again. But I went down there and got stuck in the snow. And I stayed there for a month and a half. And there's a kid there was a 30-year-old schizophrenic man that would come out from these mountains, and he would take a hatchet and he'd chop trees up and say, "That's you. I'm a Viking that killed you in a past life." And his name was Vincent. And then I'd go see Alex at the vape shop, and she would let me vent. But a truck had gone on, and the truck had loosened the earth enough that there was mud underneath the aggregate, and the aggregate right there. But I would dig through these dumpsters looking for stuff. I never found anything. I wrote a lot of songs right here in the car when I got out. And I'd go up there in the woods and just chill. It's really depressing. It drains you, so you can't think, you can't function, you're cold all day, your body is rigid. You feel like a demonic force or like an AI antichrist is keeping you trapped and raping your spirit, consuming you all day, so you can barely, eventually it whittles you down so you can't think, and the abuse you get put through. So when I was ready to give up, I would just crawl up into the woods right there and lay in the snow and pray I freeze to death. Like I don't know why my brother died in 5 minutes out there and I didn't. Because I wanted to die. I wanted hypothermia. I wanted a finger to fall off. So it would be, maybe I would have been brave enough to shoot myself or something. That's the only thing I haven't tried. I've tried bleeding out, I've tried hanging myself, I've tried suicide by car, I've tried suicide by cop. And nothing ever, I've jumped off a bridge twice. And nothing ever works. So I was like, fuck it, I guess I'll just go up against the Matrix. I think I'm at the wrong... Fuck. I'm at their office. Nice view of the mountain. I went to their office on accident. At least I remembered where their office was. Which means that it's just down this other way. You have to head a bit more. Oh, fuck. I'm always fucking up at this turn. Don't turn down this. Come on. I always think I can turn down this way and then it's a dead-end road. And they don't say it's a dead-end road. Which is why I'm pissed. You actually have to go up this one. Back onto Zephyr. Is Dean Withers here? Dean? You can't be moving that quickly, Dean. Oh no, I went and did the side quest. Kettle Pond Lane. I bet you there's no pond up there. But yeah, saying these duplex is not 500,000. They gotta be 500,000. Even if they're not worth 500,000, they would sell it for 500 just because of the location and how it's gonna be developed in the future. If they've got speed bumps in Vermont and it's in Burlington, best believe there's a couple 100,000 more than what the property's worth. they're not building any more cities in this state ever. Oh, fuck. I couldn't see the speed bump because of the shade. Okay. I went... That doesn't make sense. Don't hit me. There's no stop signs. Okay. This makes no sense to me. Because I went down there. It's not up that way. We'll try, right? Oh, fuck you. Okay. I can go right on red, man. Come on. It's legal. You saw it. He was going 16 to 40. That's why he turned off. Because he thinks I'm going to road rage him. Because I look like a crackhead. But I don't know that for sure. I'm pretty sure this is also the wrong way. I just want to be sure that I'm in the right place and I have to get gas. I know there's a gas station up here. Yeah. It looks like traffic is too heavy, so I think if the gas station is not up this hill and it's actually 2 miles up the hill, I'm just going to turn around and go to the other gas station. No, I think this might actually be the place. I think I did go the right way, guys. I did. It's cool. And there is a gas station. I was right about the gas station up here. And look, it's the same make, model, color of my car. Same year, too. I can't find the link to go from. It's all right, man. I'll post it again. It's saving for a down payment on a piece of land that somebody's given me. It's all right. It's an asset. It's a permanent place in a beautiful place. The closest price to a property that I could get is in a neighborhood I don't like, nowhere near where I'd like to be, and it's $30,000 more. And to live in it, there's also lot rent, so on top of the payments you'd have to do, you'd also have to pay forever for the double wide on that piece of land. So I'm here. We're gonna stop here. And I'm gonna have to exit the live to unlock my which is fine because I have to cancel that card and get a new one anyways. It's me. Hi, this guy smiled at me for no reason. Kind of cool. See if there's a bathroom. Bathroom?
Yep. Subway here.
All right, thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Until next time.